Kichi, Kichima, Chibram Konto, Alliance, shoot to kill, Hamaza, kill the Boer, the farmer, kill the Boer, the farmer, brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa. Attention.
A political slogan.
Shalom. It's the brother Azariah back again with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kadash. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles, elder bishops of the great millstone. Peace and blessings also to you, hopefully elect brothers and sisters out there, the Akim and the Akwath, diligently laboring in this truth and faith in our Lord Yahweh Shai. So as you saw in this opening clip, the EFF leader out there in South Africa, Julius Malema, is here seen chanting, all right, along with many of his supporters of that party. Kill the Boer, kill the farmer. Kill the Boer, kill the farmer, right? That's what they was out there chanting. Now, this is not a new chant. You know, this goes back to the apartheid era. Right, but basically what they chanting is for, because when he says Boer, that's referring to the white South Africans, all right, and the white farmers as well, the white South African farmers. So they saying kill the Boer, kill the farmer. So of course that means that they want them up out of there, all right, because we know that those Edomites over there, they took over the land by violence. All right, the scriptures tell you about those that covered fields by violence, you know, which that's speaking of Esau Edom. And he's done that all across the planet Earth. Now, South Africa is also a part of the BRICS nations, so they plugged in with Russia. All right, they plugged in with Russia. They about to drop the US dollar, and they want them white folks up out of South Africa because they don't belong there. They don't belong there. And that chant that they was going in on, that's really a war chant. You know what I'm saying? They going to war now. They've been in conflict with the white South Africans going back years now. But it's about to get to a new level. All right? Because the Most High putting the spirit on these nations to be against Esau. All right? Mainly the Western Edomite. Those in Europe, those in America. You know, the Most High has a spirit in the earth right now. Even brothers. Recently, brothers have been getting in to Esau heavily. You know what I'm saying? It's like every lesson that brothers do, Esau has to come up, you know. And of course, we know that he's the problem, you know, like we know that Esau is the cancer of the earth. So, of course, he has to be discussed, you know. You can't just treat Esau like the elephant in the room. Nah, I mean, you have to address this man because he's really the reason why there is so much turmoil and, you know, disorder within the earth, you see. But Julius Malema, I'm surprised that they haven't tried to get him out of there yet, you know. They might in the future. I mean, hey, we'll see what happens. But, you know, these Edomites are scared, you know. I saw another news clip going into this in which I believe he's the DEA, an Edomite for South Africa. He was like, this has to be stopped. You know, I think he went to the United Nations and tried to get him indicted for hate speech. But they ruled that it's not hate speech. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be ruled hate speech. Because in past times when the white South Africans, when they was coming against, you know, the true South Africans, there was no filing for hate speech. Nah, Jake, you know what I'm saying? They just had to take it. You know, now we know that Jake is out there in South Africa as well. You know, mainly on the West Coast, Sub-Saharan Africa. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, Jake is mixed in out there with the Hamites, man. But what you're seeing is the earth rising up against the Edomite, all right? As the scriptures say, that heaven shall reveal his iniquity and the earth shall rise up against him. And that means everything in the earth, from the animals to the weather, you know, to all the nations, you see? So let's go here. It says, why many Nigerians want Russia in and the West out. So right now, what you have going on in Nigeria, not the country of Nigeria, but Nigeria, I think it's a little bit north to Nigeria. You have them basically kicking NATO out, kicking the European Union out, mainly France, because, France mainly deals with that nation. They export a lot of gold and a lot of uranium, I believe, to France. But now they've completely cut off that trade supply to France, and they're aligning themselves with Russia. I believe they want to join the BRICS nations as well. So all these nations are dumping the dollar and they're getting with the BRICS. So we'll get into it here. See there? So they're flying the Russian flag and their own flag as well, side by side. You see that? So this is major. This is not a small thing. Best believe you already know what's going to come from this. World War III is right on the horizon. You can see it brewing. It says last week's coup in Niger sent shockwaves across not only Africa's Sahel region, but the international community at large. Niger had been the last pro-Western holdout in a region known as Africa's Coupe Belt, fueling concerns the military takeover could destabilize the region and hurt long-standing counter-terrorism efforts there. Yet the sight of Nigerians waving pro-Putin protest signs and Russian flags has left many in the West feeling uneasy. Now, why is this having many in the West? Salaki, let me drink some water. Salakia. So, why is this having many in the West feel uneasy? The answer is simple, because they feel their hegemony, their grasp on the continent of Africa slipping away. And really, when you go into it, that's how Europe and America got rich. Because when you consider Africa, these different nations in Africa, that whole continent is very rich in resources. See, Africa has enough resources to stabilize the whole entire world, man. You know what I'm saying? So for years, Europe mainly has been, because there was a time during the 1800s where Europe, they went up into Africa and colonized the continent. They split up Africa between the Dutch, the French, the British, Germany being the main ones, right? So they split up that whole continent, man. And for years, they were getting all the riches. They were extorting the local populations of these particular African nations. They were taking all the riches, Europe, and leaving the people destitute. You see, the land itself is very rich, but the people don't benefit. Now, who benefits? All these Edomite corporations that they bring in to take out the gas, to take out the gold, the silver, copper mines, uranium, nickel, and all these other resources that the Europeans take and use for their own benefit. See? So now Russia is coming in and they're offering a better deal. See, Russia is offering a more fair trade to these nations than what America and Europe has offered in the past. Well, I can't even say offered. They just straight up came in and just took it. But Russia is coming in on a more fair ground. See, Russia wants to do trade in a way that will benefit Russia and also benefit these particular African nations. Because when you go to a lot of these nations over there in Africa, majority of the people live in poverty. Majority of the people. And a very small percent of them which are plugged in with the Western Edomite, whether it be France or Britain, or Spain or whatsoever. Those politicians or whatever, they're the ones that live well, but majority of the people in these nations are poor, man. You see, they're not benefiting from the resources. They're not benefiting from the trade. you know. So Russia's coming in and they're like, well, hey, well, listen, Russia, China, mainly, those, you know what I'm saying, those are the main two biggest players in Africa right now, Russia and China. They're coming in and saying, of course, we want benefits, but we want to help your people as well. And you see, really, the Lord is creating that division because this is going to be basically East versus West. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you remember back in the 90s, you know what I'm saying, there was like a whole East Coast, West Coast beef. You know what I'm saying? But that was really folly. You know what I'm saying? That was, you know, small scale Jake BS. But here, this is East versus West on a global scale. And this is going to end in a lot of bloodshed. All right? Because you best believe that America and Europe, they not about to just let this go like that. You know? Whenever there's a transfer of power, there always is war and bloodshed in the wake of it. Because people don't like losing power, especially when they've had a certain strength for so long of a time. So it says, yet the sight of Nigerians waving pro-Putin protest signs and Russian flags have left many in the West feeling uneasy. These images provide a sharp contrast for a Western public that has frequently been told that Russian President Vladimir Putin is a pariah around the world. In recent years, we have witnessed a new scramble for Africa. Like I mentioned before, back in the 1800s, there was a scramble for Africa in which many of the European nations went up and they divided the whole continent between themselves. That is changing right now. With major powers like Russia and China as well as growing regional powers such as the United Arab Emirates, so even Saudi Arabia is up in there as well, which I believe Saudi Arabia is now part of the BRICS as well. All right. So this is a great shift that's taking place right now, making substantial diplomatic and economic forays into the continent. These powers, the somewhat problematic new scramble narrative goes, are displacing the influence of traditional colonial powers. And that colonial powers is very key because in the past, like I touched on a minute ago, these European nations, they treated, you know, the native African population as slaves. They colonized. They didn't go in and say, hey, you know, let us have some land and, you know, we'll you know, trade fairly. You know, we can get our cut and you can benefit your people as well. Nah, it wasn't like that. You see, before it was just straight up exploitation. Europe is taking majority of the resources while the people have nothing. See, so now France and China coming in and they changing that whole perspective. You know what I'm saying? Now people are starting to see, well, damn, like the West has been screwing us for years. You know what I'm saying? We need a change now. And that's really the spirit of the Lord that is upon these nations. It says, for example, in largely Francophone West Africa, France was once the dominant foreign power in 9 of the region's 16 countries as of 1980 compared with only 3 today. See that? So France's power in Western Africa has significantly been diminished. According to our team, formal bilateral influence capacity index. Yet part of what the new scramble narrative misses is that Russia's presence in Africa is hardly new. Ghana, Guinea, and Mali are cases in point where the Soviet Union, led by Russia, is remembered as a potent anti-colonial force, seeking to free Africans from European and American capitalist oppression. Soviet involvement in Africa was widespread, featuring economic and military assistance for socialist-leaning governments and militias fighting liberation wars. And even more of a reason why Africa is about to side with Russia and China is because look at what the West has done in terms of the political climate in Africa. There were many African leaders that wanted to liberate their people, wanted to actually go with Russia and these Eastern nations. But there, you know, certain coups happened. You know, leaders were you know, knocked off. You know, a notable example being Muammar Gaddafi. You see, Muammar Gaddafi, back in the early, you know, late 2000s, early 2010s, he wanted to basically do what the BRICS are doing right now. You know, he wanted to create a, you know, African currency that would benefit the whole of the continent and basically push the West out, you know? And his currency was actually going to be backed by gold and silver, which is what this new BRICS currency is also, being designed from. All right. So because he wanted to do that and get away from the influence, the power of the West, all you got to do is look up videos of how Libya was pre, 2010. There was free healthcare, free housing. That the citizens had certain incentives, like, if they, I think it was like free college, for citizens of a certain age. There were social programs. Libya was beautiful during that time. But then because Muammar Gaddafi wanted to move away from the West, of course, Esau said, "Oh no, we can't have that." So Esau came in with the sword, during the presidency of Barack Obama. All right. And they took him out. The same thing with Saddam Hussein. All right. The same thing with, what's his name? Forgetting his name. The guy in South Africa, man. Why is his name escaping me right there? Salakia. Lord willing, it comes back to me. But the black leader in South Africa that they had jailed. I can't remember his name right now. I don't know why. But the point is, I say that to say, many of the African leaders have been silenced for trying to do better for their people or trying to align themselves with Eastern nations that would more benefit their situation. All right, so now they pushing the West out. They saying we don't want Europe in here no more. We don't want France in here. We don't want Britain in here. We don't want America in here no more. Because you're not helping us. You ain't never helped us. All you've done is exploit our people, exploit the resources, exploit the land, and kill our leaders. See? So this great awakening is worldwide. All right, and it's being found out that the Edomite, all right, mainly these Western Edomites, all right, the rebirth of the Roman Empire, that they're causing majority of the problems, if not all, within the earth. It says Soviet involvement. Okay, Salakia. Then, since Russia has maintained a decades-long diplomatic presence in most African countries. In recent years, Russian arms transfers have poured into Africa, providing 40,000 of arms imported by African countries since 2018. Meanwhile, the state-sponsored Wagner mercenary group has become deeply involved in the security interests of countries such as the Central African Republic of Sudan, providing not only military training but also security for gold and other mines. See, so Russia is offering benefits to these nations. They're offering military training. They're offering security for gold and other mines, so they're protecting the resources. They're teaching the people how to protect themselves. They're increasing trade to these nations. When America and Europe, they've done none of that. You see? So now you see why there's this anti-West sentiment. You know what I'm saying? There's this very anti-America, anti-Europe sentiment. And very, very soon, if Europe can't get the resources, they're going to have to go to war. All right? Either that or they're going to go bankrupt. You see? Because Europe, you see, really the whole world, man, the whole world got rich off of the backs of the Israelites, all right, during slavery. You see, that's how Europe and America really got rich. If it wasn't for slavery, Europe, America, the West in general, they would be poor. All right, they would not have these vast, powerful armies and advanced infrastructure and all that they have. It's all because they gained that power and wealth off of the backs of Jake. You see, so now the chickens are coming home to roost. Let's go here to Ezekiel 38:1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Now this Gog and Magog, this is speaking of the land of Russia. All right. The chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. So, the Lord ultimately, he's against Russia. All right. The Lord is against China. He's against these Eastern nations ultimately, but he's using them for the purpose of prophecy. All right. To bring about this third world's woe. The battle of Armageddon, right? Verse 3. And say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. And I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. All these nations here are down with Russia. You see? Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya. So this is last days prophecy. You can't get around this. All right? All of them with shield and helmet. So all of these nations here, okay, including the many more that will join Russia, that will join Russia's alliance, are all being gathered together for the purpose of World War III. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. See, so Russia is a guard unto these nations, right? Russia is a guard unto them. Now, all of the, hostile remarks that Iran has been making against America and the West, India, same thing, Saudi Arabia, the same thing. These nations in times past, they would have never tried to buck up against America because they already understood what the outcome was going to be. They feared that American, NATO, and the EU military might. All right, but now the nations saying, let the weak say, I am strong. See, these weaker nations in time past, now they saying that they're strong. And also, they have the backing of Gog and Magog. They have the backing of Russia and China. All right. The two biggest Eastern world players. All right. On this world stage, man. All right. So now America knows that they just can't go up in there like they did Saddam Hussein, like they did Muammar Gaddafi. You know what I'm saying? They can't just run up in Iran like that because Russia is a guard unto them. See? And they don't want to deal with Russia because Russia has hypersonic weapons. Russia got ICBMs just like America got ICBMs. So now war on the world playing stage has been evened. You see that? So this is all for the purpose of the Lord's words to be fulfilled. See, this is what this is all for. Let me go to Slakia. Let me go to Revelation 16. Because like I said, this is all leading up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. All right, Revelation 16:1. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of wrath of Yahweh upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and the fountains of waters, and they became blood. And I heard the angel of the water say, thou art righteous, O Lord, which art and wast and shall be, because thou hast judged us. For they have shed the blood of the saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. So why are all these plagues and eventually World War III going to come upon the earth? It's all for the sake of the Israelites. Okay, that's why it says here in verse 6, for they have shed the blood of the saints and prophets. All right. So the Lord is doing all of these things. He's bringing these things forth for the sake of his people to deliver them. And I heard another out of the altar say, even so, Lord Yahweh Almighty, true and righteous are thy judgments. So we can skip down. All right, this is verse 13. And I saw three unclean spirits, like frogs, come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of Yahweh Almighty, which is what? The valley of Yahweh Shaphat, Armageddon, World War III. Verse 12, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. So all these things, and right now the Euphrates River is completely dried up. Look it up. It's completely dried up. And this is to what? To make way for the kings of the east, that the way might be prepared. Because all of these nations, the kings of the east, Russia, China, India, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, okay, all these nations are going to converge upon the land of Jerusalem, and they're going to make war there. All right, that's where the Lord is going to judge all these nations in the valley of Jehoshaphat. You see? So everything is lining up right now beautifully. And we living in these days and times, all right, where the Lord is making these things known within the earth to his servants, the prophets. Joel 3. Let's go here. In verse 9, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. I quoted this earlier. Right? So, hey, we already know these weaker nations are allying themselves with Russia and China. And they're saying now, I'm strong. See, North Korea over there shooting off missiles every day. And, hey, they're getting better and better. So much so to the point where Esau is scared. Right? Esau is afraid now, man, because they see that these nations is not playing. The spirit is on them to rise up in haste. All right, with great fervency and passion against the Edomite. See, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Yahweh Shaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fast overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near. In the valley of decision. So the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, that they should be judged. All right. And right now, Esau is perplexed. Okay, because let's go here. Esau is perplexed, man, because every day new things are developing. You see, and this man is losing power more and more every day. And we know that one thing that's about to happen is the collapse of this USD. All these nations are getting away from the USD and they're going with this BRICS currency, man. All right. And we ultimately know that this is going to lead to war. All right. Because when all else fails, Esau resorts back to what? His blessing, which is the sword. All right. BRICS finally abandons USD for global trade settlement. The line has been drawn in the sand, and BRICS nations have made a stand that could shake the global financial landscape. The alliance of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, BRICS, is putting forth an initiative to abandon the US dollar for global trade, opting instead to strengthen their local economies through cross-border transactions using local currencies. The decision, aimed at keeping their native currencies in control, marks a turning point that could have far-reaching effects. And ultimately, this is being done because whoever controls the economy of a nation controls the power. See, once you take away a entity's economic control of your nation, you get your power back, because now sanctions don't bother you. Okay, now the threat of war doesn't bother you no more, because now you have strong leaders, strong nations like Russia and China and these other BRICS nations backing you. All right. So America has become that old bully on the block, that now the nations that he used to bully are now about to bully him. You see? In the world previously dominated by the US dollar, the 5 nations comprising BRICS have resolved to embark on a journey of economic independence, aiming to make businesses boom within their territories. The alliance has recognized that using local currencies for international transactions will not only be faster and smoother, but also more cost effective. The goal here is clear: bolster their native currencies, and forge a new path that puts local economies at the forefront of international trade. South African BRICS ambassador Anil Suklau has confirmed the group's intent to deepen the use of local currencies for global trade settlements. So it's happening. And hey, this US dollar any day can collapse. This is why now they're pushing that MOTB. They're pushing the rice grain because they know that eventually this is going to be the way in which everyone is going to have to live, man, because these nations are getting away, all right, from this American-led world, all right? So this CBDC, okay, which all these nations are going to go into getting onto a CBDC, but America is not exempt. Let's go to Job 18. Job 18, let's start at verse 8. It says, "For he cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. The jinn shall take him by the heel, and the robber shall prevail against him. The snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. Terrors shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet." You see, so right now, it's terrors all across the world, man, that's driving Esau to his feet. And when you go into this chapter, Job 8, this really goes into Esau. All right. The light of the wicked shall be put out. You see that? So hey, this really is going into the rulership of Esau. You see? But it says, terror shall make him afraid on every side and shall drive him to his feet. So right now, Esau got too much going on. He got to worry about the so-called UFOs. He got to worry about the nations rising up against him. He got to worry about his economy collapsing. He got to worry about other Edomites with the civil war. There's protests going on in France and in Germany and Belgium and England. Esau got a lot to worry about. All right, he got too much on his plate. That's why it says every side, and shall drive him to his feet. Then ultimately he got to worry about the prospect of World War III, how he's gonna deal with that. And then the biggest worry, the biggest terror that he got to face is the coming back. Is the coming of Yahushua and the host of heaven. You see, so Esau, this man is going crazy right now. All right, this man is being driven mad by the amount of crises that he has to deal with. All right, he has too much on his mind. And hey, you know that these elites, they not sleeping at night, man. These elites can't sleep because once again, it's too much for them to deal with. All right. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his side. It shall devour the strength of his skin, even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors, which is who? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So the king of terrors is going to meet Esau and take down his kingdom with violence. All right. With violence, man. It shall dwell in his tabernacle because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. His roots shall be dried up beneath, and above shall his branch be cut off. His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. So this is the ultimate end of the Edomite. All right. He says his remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. So just like how you can name these top elite bankers, you know what I'm saying? The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, all these people, all these famous Edomites, Brad Pitt, and you know what I'm saying? Mark Wahlberg, and you know what I'm saying? All these famous Edomites, right? At the end of it all, they're not going to have no name in the street because you know why? They're going to be made slaves and servants in the kingdom of heaven. And then after that, they're going to be destroyed. There is going to be no more Edomites after that. So after a certain point, people not even going to think about Esau. All right. There's a scripture that says, "Is this the man?" Let me see if I can find that real quick. One moment. Yeah. Isaiah 14:16. Let's get it. Call Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Let me start at 13. "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven." This is speaking about Esau, okay, which comes in the spirit of Satan. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And that's this man's inward desire, that he can overtake and be the Most High. That's Esau's inward desire. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, Is this the man? Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? So in the kingdom of heaven, when Esau is brought back into his right estate, into his, natural estate, which is to be a slave, the nation's going to look at this man and be like, this right here, this is the man that did shake the kingdom. This is the man that ruled over the whole earth and made war and conquered the nations and exploited people and enslaved. This right here. Hey, as the scriptures say, hey, the Most High even raised up the basis of men. Call Lord Yahweh Shah. Hey, the Most High raised up the basis of men, but guess what? He's also going to bring him very, very low. All right, the Most High raised Esau up for his purpose, and when he's done with Esau, he's going to take him down and abase him back to his natural position. That made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof. That opened not the house of his prisoners. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But what for Esau? But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch. And Esau is that abominable branch, man. Okay, Esau is that vessel of wrath fitted for destruction. And as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword, they go down to the stones of the pit as a carcass trodden under feet. So, you see, man, Esau, the ultimate end of this man is destruction. All right? The Most High just giving Esau his little time right now to do what he got to do for the sake of prophecy. But in the end, this man is going to be completely destroyed. All right? He's going to be, abased. Let's go to Job. Job 20. Let's jump down to 22. Job 20 and 22, in the fullness of his sufficiency, right? This man is at the point now where he thinks he's about to establish his new world order. He's about to bring about this new beast system upon the earth. So he believes that he's in his fullness, right? He shall be in straits. Now, straits goes into a position of difficulty, being between a rock and a hard place. All right, so just when you think that you're about to fully realize your enterprise, you're going to be in straits, right? Just like we went into that scripture in Isaiah, which said that terror shall make him afraid on every side. So right now, this man has a lot to deal with. He's in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Now, when it goes into the word wicked there, it really goes into the laborer or the common man, all right? Which when you go back to the video that we watched in the beginning, Julius Malema, the leader of the WFF, they were screaming what? Kill the Boer, kill the farmer. You see? So the whole earth is rising up against the Edomite. All right, and this is all to fulfill the will of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Verse 23, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yeah. The glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. And call Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, because, hey, we almost out of here. All right, Esau, you know what I'm saying? Hey, the Most High about to get Esau out of here, man. And you can see by what's going on within the earth that everything is against this man. I mean everything. All right, the fishes of the sea are rising up against Esau. All right, you have the nations that are rising up against the Western Edomite. This is all for the purpose of destruction, because there's a transfer of rulership going on in the planet Earth right now. The end of Esau's current system and the beginning of Israel. All right, the reign of Yahweh Shai. So we can close out on this right here. Let's play this back one more time.
Alliance. shoot to kill. Yamaza, kill the Boer, the farmer. Kill the Boer, the farmer. Brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa. Attention.
Salakia. With that, I'm going to go ahead and say, Call Halal, Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Racha, Kadash, and until next time, Lord willing, Kum Yasha'Allah, DTA, and Abad Babal. Shalom.